Somewhere in your past, there's a person who owes you. Maybe they broke a promise that broke a year of your life. Maybe they left or lied or took something, your trust, your childhood, your chance, your peace. And somewhere inside you, without ever deciding to, you opened a case file on them. You know it's open because of what happens when their name comes up, the tightening, the heat, the speech you've written and rewritten in the shower for years, the closing argument you'd deliver if you ever got them in the courtroom of one honest conversation. Tonight is about that case file. Not about them, about the file and what carrying it is doing to the carrier. Because here's the sentence this whole talk unfolds from, one of the oldest and most misunderstood in human experience. Forgiveness is for you, not them. Start by clearing away what forgiveness is not, because the misunderstandings are exactly what keep people from it. Forgiveness is not saying it didn't matter. It is not saying it was okay or understandable or in the past now. It does not require forgetting as if you could, and it absolutely does not require reconciliation. You can forgive someone you never speak to again. You can forgive someone you keep a restraining order against. You can forgive the dead. Forgiveness is not a verdict on their behavior at all. The verdict stands what they did was wrong. Full stop. Forgiveness is something else entirely. It's a decision about your own future, specifically this one, the decision to stop paying the ongoing costs of someone else's past actions. It's closing the case file, not because justice doesn't matter, but because you have finally noticed who's funding the prosecution. Because look at the actual economics of a grudge. The resentment you carry, walk through what it costs, item by item. It costs body. The research on hostility and chronic anger is grim and consistent: elevated blood pressure, cardiovascular strain, disrupted sleep, a stress system that never fully stands down. Studies on forgiveness interventions show the reverse: measurable drops in anxiety, depression, and physical stress markers. It costs attention, every rehearsal of the grievance, and chronic grudges get rehearsed hundreds of times a year, is prime mental real estate spent hosting a person you claim to want out of your life. There's the dark joke in it: they're gone, and yet they attend your showers, your commutes, your 3A. Them sailings. You evicted them from your life and gave them a residency in your head. It costs relationships, carried bitterness leaks onto new partners who pay old debts, onto children who learn the family grievances like heirlooms, onto your general trust, which the old wound taught to flinch. And here's the ledger's cruelest line: who pays all this? Not them. They may not think of it once a year. They may be dead. The old line says it perfectly: resentment is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. You've been paying daily, compounding for years on a debt someone else incurred. Forgiveness, seen clearly, isn't charity toward them. It's the decision to stop the payments. Now, why is it so hard? Because the grudge feels like it's doing jobs for you, and until you see the jobs and reassign them, no amount of let it go will work. Job 1, the anger feels like justice. Somewhere we believe that our continued suffering keeps the scales visible, that if we stopped hurting, it would mean they got away with it. But test that logic, you're 3A. Them rehearsals punish exactly one person, and it isn't them. They get away with it or don't based on consequences in their life, accountability, which you can still pursue where it's available, not based on the temperature of your chest. Your suffering was never on the scales. It just felt like it was. Job 2, the grudge feels like protection: stay angry, stay guarded, never fooled again. But wisdom and bitterness are different technologies. Wisdom remembers the lesson, bitterness refeels the wound. You can keep every boundary, every red flag detector, every hard-won instinct, those are yours, paid for, while releasing the daily reheating of the pain that taught them. The lesson doesn't need the fire kept burning. It's already written down. And job 3, the deepest, the grudge holds a place for the apology that never came. So much unforgiveness is unfinished waiting, the account held open in case they someday pay. Admit it, understand it, undo it. Here's the brutal, liberating actuarial truth. Most such debts are never paid. They lack the character, the awareness, or the aliveness to pay. Waiting for their remorse to release you means chaining your peace to their growth. The same people who hurt you now hold the schedule of your healing. Forgiveness is what writing off a bad debt is in accounting, not a declaration that the debt wasn't real, a decision to stop letting it distort every future ledger. So how is it actually done? Not as a moment, as a process, and knowing the process matters because people attempt forgiveness as a single grand gesture, fail by Thursday when the anger resurges, and conclude they are incapable. Here's the real shape. It begins with full acknowledgement. This is why premature forgiveness fails. You cannot release what you haven't honestly weighed. Name what happened without minimizing, what they did, what it cost, what it set in motion. Some people write it out, some speak it to a therapist or a trusted friend. The form matters less than the completeness. The wound gets its full hearing. That's not wallowing. That's the required reading before the release. Then comes the decision, and it is a decision, not a feeling. I am no longer willing to fund this account. I choose to release this debt for my own sake. Say it, write it, date it. The feelings will not fall in line immediately. That's normal and expected. Which brings the crucial third phase, reforgiveness. The anger will return, a memory, a trigger, their name in someone's mouth, and each time the old case file will helpfully reopen itself. The practiced move is not despair, I thought I forgave this. But repetition, I've released this. I'm not reopening it. Not today. Forgiveness for deep wounds is less like signing a document and more like staying sober, a decision renewed on contact, easier with every rep, until one day people report this with wonder, the name comes up and the chest stays quiet. The file has finally been moved to storage. You'll notice the space it was taking only when it's gone. 2 special cases, briefly, because they're where the deepest files live. The unrepentant and the gone, you need nothing from them to do any of this, that's the whole point. Their participation was never required. The work happens entirely in the only jurisdiction you control. And the hardest one, yourself. For some of you, the oldest open case has your own name on it, the choice you can't undo, the harm you caused, the years you cost yourself. The same law applies, acknowledgement in full, the debt named honestly, amends made where they are truly possible, and then the release, renewed as often as it reopens. Self-directed contempt, decades long, protects no one and repairs nothing. It just ensures the person who made the mistake stays too depleted to become the person who'd never repeat it. You'll know self-forgiveness is real when the memory produces resolve instead of collapse. Here's the final image. People who have done this work all describe the same physical sensation, and the unanimity is striking: lightness. Like taking off a backpack they'd worn so long they'd stopped feeling the straps, like a fist, clenched for years, finally opening, and the shocking realization of how much strength the clenching had been consuming all along. That strength comes back, all of it. It was never gone, just employed full-time, holding a door shut on the past. So tonight, pick your file. Not the heaviest one, maybe. Start where the release is possible. Write down what happened, all of it. Write what carrying it has cost you, all of it. And then if you're ready, write the sentence and date it. This debt is released. Not because it wasn't real. Because I'm done paying for it. What? They may never know. They don't need to. The prisoner you're releasing was never them. Open the hand. Feel how much of you comes back.